All right, guys, what's happening? I decided to make a new video. So the old video was quite old, and ironically, I was sick in that video, and I'm kind of sick again, but I'm not feverish. I just have a bit of a sore throat. But I want to get this video done for you guys as soon as possible. I'm gonna run through this just like it's a lesson, okay? But it might be some explanation and all that. But the protocol is really 30 minutes on the sand from when you start the lesson, maybe 25, but like 25, 30 minutes, okay? So we are very detail oriented more than a lot of other schools, so just keep that in mind. And there's a reason for that. Those details are important to get people standing and to get them up riding waves. The more details, the better. People will forget like half of what you teach, but still it's good to give them the details. And then when something happens in the water, they'll go, oh yeah, you taught that. Now I remember. So that's the thing. So you want to always teach it, and you're just like a robot. You're not a robot, obviously, but it's kind of like you're just doing the same protocol over and over and over. There's also some additional tips and tricks inside the email that you'll receive, or actually a document that I think we're going to pass out in person. All that's good stuff. There will be segments, and that's how I'm going to teach today, in segments, and that's how you should learn, in segments, so that you really absorb it. And I think there's 6. Safety, getting out there, popping up on the board, shuffling, and turning, and then what's the last one? Anyway, I'll go through it. You'll figure it out. I don't have any notes today. I've just been doing this so long. I don't forget. I just forgot for a second, but I'll get that last one. Yeah, all right. So I'm just going to go through this just like it is a lesson. All right, guys. So when you learn this yourself, I can't say enough, just learn it in the segments and then stop and take notes. And even you can like film yourself in the segments, like doing just the one segment of safety, and then check yourself, go, wow, okay, I forgot this or that. When you film yourself in segments, just like 5-minute segments, you're gonna really learn it, and then you can critique yourself that way. But definitely take notes on this video, watch it several times. We are quite particular how lessons go, and so we want it to be pretty detail oriented. All right, so I'm just gonna pretend I'm doing a lesson. All right, guys, so let's just pretend I'm standing. I think if I stand, you won't be able to see me, so I'm just gonna do this here. Safety first, guys. And this is just like me talking to them, like pretend they're here, right? Don't ever dive off your board, fall on your stomach or on your back. Keep the board to the side of you at all times. Because if the white water is here and the board is here, it's going to hit you. I see that a lot. You got to keep the board to the side of you at all times, okay? Spread apart as much as possible when you have multiple people, or say there's another group out there. Just always spread apart. Always communicate with the other instructors, and stay spread apart as much as possible. If there's a current that's really bad, you want to have them like even walk once they catch a wave and they're knee deep or waist deep water or whatever. Have them walk as far, like at least 10 or to 15 yards over, and then when they paddle back out, they'll then drift over to you, if that makes sense, because you want to keep everyone together as much as possible. Stomp for stingrays. You guys know the drill, man. There's stingrays, no getting around it. You may get stung once. If you get stung twice a season, it's really unlucky. It may happen. I'm like mad out there, like stomping like just an imbecile, like, just crazy stomping. If you forget for 10 seconds, you've forgotten too long. When you come like up and you're off your feet, just come straight down. You can tell them this as well, but this is kind of, I'm speaking to you guys, just come straight down with your toe down first. Nothing there. Then place your foot completely, stomp in place. You want to stomp at least kind of this much, you're kind of like, boom, when you're walking out there, just do that. I've tested it many times, and there'll be a stingray that's like 6 feet away or more, and it'll scurry off. So you can also plop the water like this, just plop it, kind of like cup your hand and plop, and they'll take off as well, all right? But you need to keep shuffling. Sometimes you just get swarms of them. Not really, but sometimes there'll be a bunch around, and usually by 10, 11 o'clock they're scurried off of it. It's more in the mornings when there's less people that they're conglomerated out there. All right, so that's safety, right? Next, getting out there. There's 3 ways to get out there. This is the next portion. Safety, now getting out there. Second, getting out there. 1, walk. 1 hand on the back and 1 hand on the side. Press down on the back of the board to get it over the white water like this. Very back of the board. Press down to get it over the white water. And this is kind of your rudder here. And then 1 hand on the side to control the board. Press down on it. Keep your board straight. Next, paddle. And by the way, I never see people really like pressing down enough, when they're out there. You got to press down a lot to get it over the white water, all right? Next, paddle. The most important thing is for them to feel for the back edge like this. This is an 8-foot board. Doesn't really matter what board it is, but feel for the back edge and move up just a little. Unless they're like really, really more tall or something, then maybe they just feel for the back edge like that. But usually you want to move up like I don't know, 3 or 4 inches, something like that. That's just general protocol, right? Paddle 1 arm at a time. 1 stroke is from here all the way through, you guys. A lot of people do this and they might even go back and like slow themselves down paddling. That's not correct paddling, obviously. Cup your hands, flex your pecs. So this is all 1 unit. And the most important thing is to breathe. I really want you to help people focus on their breath out there, guys. It's highly underrated. Once they get through the lactic acid like buildup, after 20 minutes it becomes much easier. But like it's just breath is life, breath is oxygen, and they're gonna be able to last a lot longer out there. So 1 entire stroke is the entire length of an inhale, and 1 entire stroke is the entire length of an exhale. See that pattern? Right on. That's really important. And then they arch up to get over the white water, just like this. Boom, right underneath the shoulders, just like that, arch up. The more they arch, gets the board just like that, get them up over the white water. As long as the white water is no bigger than, say, like that. If it's bigger than that, or they don't have the paddle speed, right, to get over it, or it's going to crash right on top of them, any wave. They need to know what to do ahead of time. This is really important, you guys. So paddle, 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 like this, in 2 to 3 seconds before the wave reaches you, which is like 10 yards, something like that, right? 2 to 3 seconds, about good 10 yards before the wave reaches them. They can ditch the board to the side by paddle, 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 doing this. Put your right hand there, push the board to the side and dive off to the left, or paddle, 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 put your left hand here and push the board to the left and then dive down to the right. So basically what you're doing in that situation is you're using the momentum from paddling to dive down. And we can be out there when it's 10 foot and hardly feel a thing if we dive deep enough down. Of course, you'll feel a tug on the board, big whoopee, no big deal. So a lot of people, another tip, a lot of people try to get on the boards from the back, like here, and then they're always trying to pull themselves up like from here. Have them come up here. And then, when they're in the water, and then all they have to do is go boom, like that, and then they're right positioned, almost correct. They're using a lot of energy to like push themselves up. So we want to minimize that, okay? And in that email as well, I talk about sitting on the board and all that, and I don't know if I'll go into that here, I might, but I'm going to try to speed this up a little. So we talked about walking out there, pressing on the back paddle, arch, ditch the board to the side, or turtle roll, where they turn the board over, and the bottom part of the board is facing up, and they're still hanging onto the board underwater. They may want to blow out of their nose a little bit, so they don't get water up their nose. And then turn back over like that. All right? Now, whether they do that or ditching the board to the side, they need to do it 2 to 3 seconds before the wave reaches them, which is really 10 yards, you guys, okay? Everyone does it too late. They're like scrambling late. Do it early. Like they should know already, is it a big wave or a whitewater? Ditch your board, And then I see people hanging onto the board still, trying to get up, or if they're not straight out there, like say you go one up over a wave and you're kind of like that, it's going to hit them and go bring them all the way around. So you want to have them straight and really arch. People don't arch enough. I see them kind of just doing that or whatever. It's like you got to go boom all the way up like that to get up over that white water, okay? So I backtracked a little bit about arching up, but that's important for them to arch a lot. Keep the board straight. The more momentum they have, the easier it is to get up over those waves. So that's getting out there, right? Next, we have popping up on the board. The third segment, popping up on the board. Feel for the back edge. Move up a little. Paddle, paddle, paddle. And this is what I'm going to say, guys. Paddle, paddle, paddle. Arch. You can do this slowly and in segments like this. You can say arch and have them stop here. Okay, everyone's arching correct. Some people will do that. Slip off the board. Grab it like that, right underneath the shoulders. Arch. You have two options. You can explode and replace your front foot where your belly button is. Boom. Okay? Look down or you don't know where your feet are. I'm going to go goofy today, so I'm facing you guys. Excuse me. Paddle, paddle. Arch. Explode. Look down. If I were to surf like this wouldn't work. So I got to look down quickly and adjust. Back foot in between the plugs or right in front. So the line of my back foot would be even with these plugs here. There's black plugs. You can't see them right now. And they're actually not even on the board, but you know what I'm talking about. Even the back portion of the foot, even with those. Or in the middle. So still on the pad if you're on a Wavestone board. So, but that's it. You only have that amount of room, you guys. Boom, boom. That's it. That's all you got. That's too wide. That's too narrow. That's perfect. No duck feet. Here, in the middle of the board. Knees forward to feel the weight on the balls of the feet. This is key. A lot of people bend their knees a lot and they go backwards like this and fall back. So we want to have the knees forward so they feel the weight on the balls, and there's more control there anyway. Okay, that's too wide, so about like that, little more than shoulder width distance. Here, knees forward to feel the weight on the balls, stretching the Achilles tendon on the back. Okay, a lot of people come up way too high, you guys. You gotta bend your knees a lot. So watch me. Arch, explode. Look down, adjust, see how I stay low, and I'm now arms straight out, and I'm looking this way. I stay low the whole time. I don't go up, and then go, now I remember, bend my knees. I stay down the whole time. Okay? Arch, explode, look down, adjust, and I'm set. Knees forward to feel the weight on the balls, and feet in the middle of the board. So people, if they're 1 inch off here, they're going to be 3 inches off in the water. So it's impeccable and imperative, that's what I'm trying to say, that we get their feet impeccable on the board. Get them perfect. So we want to do, that's one way. Here's another option if they have a problem with popping up. I'm doing the goofy way since I'm facing you guys. So paddle, 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 arch. My left foot's my back foot, excuse me. My left foot is my back foot, so I'm bringing my left knee here straight up and down. Not here, it's too far. Straight up and down here, straight, 90 degrees. 1, 2 here, in the middle. Okay, not here, they're gonna fall here, down, like this. Still touching the board. This is in the middle of the board. If my foot was off to the side more like this, it's not gonna work. It needs to be in the middle of the board, and it needs to be 90 degrees as well. Okay, so again, arch, knee straight up and down, 1, 2. Stand up on this foot, and then I actually pick my back foot up just a little and place it where it needs to be. Buckle, shoe. Paddle, paddle, paddle. Arch. 1, 2. Stand up, buckle, shoe, down, 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 down. Down. I'll do it one more time. Paddle, paddle, paddle. Arch. 1, 2. Here, not here. Because if I go here, and then I turn, look, and then your feet are off. So, right? You want to get it in the middle of the board. Arch. And this is all fluid and fast, you guys. A lot of people hesitate. They go, and they stop here, and they're kind of jerky. You want it fluid and fast. Down. So a lot of people end up hesitating The quicker they can get to their feet, the better, you guys. I swear, it's so important. Especially if you're pushing them on open faces. And by the way, don't ever push them on like shoulder high open faces unless they're really good. You know, push them on like chest high or waist high open face waves. You want to have them get up before the wave breaks. Otherwise the wave breaks and then they fall. So they have to not hesitate. A lot of people hesitate too much. Get them up quick. If you have someone that's overweight, okay, and they have this, their belly might get in the way here, right? They can't even do this because they have this huge belly, right? So they can do this, arch. And this is only for like overweight people or very out of shape people. Arch, both knees here. Then they kind of come up like that and then do it. So here, kind of come up to here and then go like this. Boom. So again, arch, boom, stand like that, down. All right, I think that's enough for the pop-ups. Let's move on to shuffling. Highly underrated. That's the next portion. Number 4, shuffling. Highly underrated, guys, because what if you have someone who's a little out of shape, overweight, and or someone who's scared and they can't get far out in the ocean? Well, if they still are going to ride waves, they need to probably be closer to shore, but they're going to bog off the wave. If they're back here on a small whitewater that big or whatever, they're going to bog off the wave. So they need to shuffle. And here's how we do that. Back foot, it's about half the distance. So here's my stance. Boom, boom. Now front foot back to move back. Back foot forward first. Now front foot back to move back. Back foot forward first. Now front foot back to move back. All right, why? Because if you do front foot forward first, look at all the movement of my body now. And I'm going to end up with all the weight on the front foot and I'm going to nosedive the board. That's why we do back foot here. Now look at my belly button. I'm hardly moving, guys. Hopefully I'm not cut off on the video, but anyway, I'm sure you can still hear me. Back foot here. And I keep the weight back. I don't do this. Stay here. So you don't nosedive. Front foot back to move back. Back foot forward first, front foot back to move back. Like this. So you're going to teach them that, and you're going to have them then practice that. It's really important, highly underrated, because people can then surf those small white waters all the way to shore and still feel like they've accomplished something and be stoked out there if they can't get that far out or they're scared. Highly underrated. A lot of people look down when they do it. You need to have them look this way and try to keep their feet in the middle of the board. Typically, people's feet always end up to like the heel portion of the board. They'll end up too far this way, or if I'm regular, too far this way. So keep that in mind. All right? By the way, you guys, all this is going to be taught in succession, and I think we're pretty clear on that, but in case you're unsure, this is the order that we teach in. Now we're at 5, turning. It's kind of separate, right? Turning. You can have them glue their hand here and then shoulder and hip together. So feeling that, how it feels when their shoulder and hip are together, when it's glued here like this. Do that. And then you can have them feel that shoulder and hip together. Everyone wants to do too much of this turning up in the upper torso. I want shoulder and hip together. So if you glue it, look at my shoulder and hip. They're turning together. Now I unglue it, and out there it's the same thing. I'm actually even rolling on my foot a little bit. Everyone's body's a little different, but it looks like this. More weight on the back foot to turn. Okay? Don't lean back, just put the weight there and turn like that. Why do we want to turn? Obviously because we want to stay in the open face part of the wave. Or whitewater as well is fun to turn on. Why not? Sometimes if they turn too much on the whitewater, they'll catch an edge. But usually they catch an edge if their feet, more so if their feet aren't in the middle of the board. Okay? So it's pretty imperative. Catching an edge is more prevalent on these boards because the rail is so square. Okay, and that's kind of for a lot of these foam boards. It's a very square rail. So, you know, obviously we want our feet in the middle of the board as much as possible to avoid that, digging the rails. All right, so that's turning, okay? So what you're gonna do is teach them all that, right? Then you're gonna go, okay, now we're gonna practice. And I don't really care if you practice the pop-ups first and then go to the shuffling later and the turning, that's okay. You could go run through it all and then go, hey guys, we're gonna practice now. Everyone get on your boards. What's the first thing you're gonna do? And they're gonna go, oh, and they're gonna say a bunch of different things and you're gonna go, you know, good job, or hey, yeah, you're right, or actually, no. What you're gonna do is you're gonna feel for the back edge. And then you're gonna move up. Everyone forgets this. And when they're in the water, paddling back out to you, the waves are hitting them and all that, they are constantly too far up and usually too far back. So you have to keep an eye on that. I'm constantly saying out there, move up, move back, move up, move back. It's ridiculous. I might as well have like a little squawk, you know, little duck squawk thing, just saying that. Move up, move back, move up, move back. But anyway, it's constant. So, all right, right? Feel for the back edge, move up a little, and then you're gonna have them practice. See if they can pop up. How quick can they get their feet set with their knees bent? Looking that way. Boom, arms straight out. Knees forward to feel the weight on the balls. Here, this is not surfing, this is monkey. So we want to be knees in, and this is where you're surfing and being able to do more maneuvers and stuff is here with the knees kind of in, right? All right. Or then you try, so you do 4, say at least, or 5, or 6, right, of the pop-ups. If you notice right away they can't do it that way, then you practice with the knee. That's what you do, you practice with the knee. And then after like 6 of those or whatever, so you're gonna do 12 to 20 max, at least 12 pop-ups, guys, at least. 20 is better. Then you're gonna say, okay, do 4 or 5 more and you choose. You wanna have them practice both. Then you wanna have them choose. All right, guys, what do you like better, pop-up or the knee? Have them try, and then whatever they do, that point onwards is what they're gonna do in the ocean, and tell them that. Go, hey, you're gonna do the exact same thing that you did here on the beach with whichever one you choose in the water, okay? Nothing different. And if the water gets in people's heads, like, oh, it's moving water, and then they just do something different out there. You gotta just do the exact same thing that they did on the beach, man. That's it. That's what you wanna tell them. So then you practice 4 to 5 or 6 more, right? And in those 4 to 5 or 6 more last ones, you wanna have them practice the shuffling. See how I'm staying bent. Back foot forward first, then front foot back to move back, then turn. So after each one of the last 5 or 6, you want to have them do pop up, shuffle, turn. Pop up, shuffle, turn. Pop up, shuffle, turn, like 6 times. Okay? And then, once you feel confident, and you might need to work more with certain individuals, be like, hey, we really got to get your feet set, or you're leaning back too much. People have a hard time bending their knees, guys. Sometimes they'll just go like that. It's like, if I say here, you're going to end up here. So I'm going to say here, and if you end up here, that's still okay. But really it should be fucking here. Down, 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 down. The more they bend their knees, the lower the sense of center of gravity, less chances are they're going to fall. So their feet could be off a little bit, but if they bend their knees, they're still going to be able to surf, which makes total sense, right? You got to check their leash constantly out there, guys. Their leash will get off. So you got to move their leash, you know what I mean? Because it'll get like turned, and make sure it's tight. They don't do it tight enough. Make sure it's really tight. Yeah, so then you're going to do stretching. So this is the last. I think we had 5. Number 6, stretching. Pretend I'm standing right now. Just pretend I'm standing. Okay, guys, we're going to stretch for a few minutes. This is very professional. A lot of my guys forget. Please don't forget to stretch. Even if you just do 3 minutes really quickly. Here, this one. And I breathe deep, belly, ribs, chest. Starting in the belly, expanding the belly. And on the exhale, you pull more. Do like at least 3 long breaths each side. Switch. Right? Then you do this one. This. Shoulders, triceps, and lats. Those are the muscles we use for paddling mostly. Switch. 3 breaths each side. Right? Then you're standing up. Let's see. Then you're going to do this one. Grab here, like that. Palms together if you can, like that. 3 breaths. Then pull in here. Shake your head yes. Pull in here from grabbing the backs of your ankles. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Right? Then squat from here, squat. And I kind of just go, and I kind of just push here with my elbows. You know, that's just something I do. But you can just have them squat. You know, that's fine, whatever works. You do 3 breaths there, and at least 3 long breaths. Then you come up. Now pretend I'm standing again, because I don't want to stand. I don't know how long this video is. I think I'll get cut off. So here, standing up, here. Palms together and then other side, 3 breaths. Okay, then we do circles. Small to start. Small to bigger. To bigger, all the way bigger, and then the other direction. Okay? Then we do neck rolls. 3 each direction. Okay, pretend I did 3. Then switch. All right? Then we do calves. So if there's no like cliff or anything, you could just do it like this. Calves like that. Okay? Or you could go up against like a cliff or something, or you know, if there's rocks, and they can do calves like this. And then switch like that. It's really important, you guys. It's very professional and important to stretch. And then you kind of just give them high fives and, hey, you guys ready? And you get out there. I'm going to check to see how much time is left on this video because I want to go through a few more things. It'd be really interesting to see how long. Does it say? Yeah, 28 minutes. So there you go, you guys. That just proves right there that it's about 25 to 30 minutes. And I kind of did rush it with like the stretching. So it's going to be about at least 30 minutes, right? 35 is like max. Between 25 if you're, you know, and 35 minutes. That's how long it should be. Have them try on their own, you guys. And there's a lot more I could talk about. I'm going to try to wrap it up in just like 3 to 4 more minutes. But have them try on their own. Out there, right? They can turn the board around, jump on their board, and paddle. They need at least 8 to 10 strokes. 8 to 10 strokes to match the speed of the wave. All right? Have the whitewater take them for several seconds rather than trying to get up in the soup in the whitewater. Have them, take them for like 2 seconds, 1, 1002, and then pop up. Sometimes they'll get a little ahead of the whitewater. So that's why they got to keep their knees bent, because they'll get ahead of it and then it'll catch up to them again, and that's when they're like, got to stay balanced. You can try on their own. You guys can multitask by like pushing one person and someone else could be like farther out, and you can say paddle, paddle, and then you can instruct them at the same time. You have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to multitask and take care of up to 3 people at once. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard. It's super fun. But you can have them try on their own, or you can have them paddle to you. You know, it's up to you. But I think, you know, that's up to you. A mark of a good instructor is to be able to tell them, hey, look, it's looking like you're doing really good. Why don't you go back out Just make sure you turn your board around enough in time so that you can get 8 to 10 strokes to match the speed of the wave. A lot of times it'll be whitewater. Sometimes they're going to go for open face waves. That's all timing. They need to be farther out in the ocean and then match the speed of it and stand up as it's breaking or before it breaks. That's all theory, and I know that's like good luck with that for the beginners, right? But if they're going for whitewaters that are, or excuse me, open face waves that are only like this big, then that's not a big deal. They have to fine tune their awareness to when they're moving down the face and then pop up and put more weight on their back foot. If it's low tide and dumping, or just more weight on their back foot. If it's a little bit bigger, if it's small, it doesn't matter. If it's an open face like that big, no big deal. But if it's like chest high or bigger, more weight on the back foot so they don't nosedive the board. Another way to not nosedive the board is to angle the boards when you push them, if you want to push them down the face, or have them angle the boards. 45 degrees is too much. It's going to topple them over, so do 30. Okay? 30 degrees. You guys are in school, right? You know your right angles and stuff? 45 is half of the 90. That's too much. It'll topple them over. So it's 30 degrees, whether they're going left or right. All right? Have them turn their head to look at the wave. A lot of people look straight. If they want to start advancing and be on the face of the wave, have them turn their head so they're looking at the face. Where your head turns, your body follows. Where your head turns, your shoulder and your body, your upper torso follows. And in turn, you turn. Gosh, there's so much more I could talk about. If you get beyond the break out there, have them sit on the boards. I'll just go through this quickly. There's 2 ways. They can sit sideways like this if they're trying on their own. Oh, by the way, I'll say that there's 3 levels of teaching, right? One is you just pushing them. Second level is you pushing them and then you take care of the timing. So you push them a little. Say the wave's like right there where the camera is, and I push them just a little to get them going, and then they keep paddling for it so they can get an idea of what it feels like to pop up on a wave by themselves and paddle for it by themselves. Third level is just coaching, where you're telling them what to do, right? So those are the 3 levels. You're telling them everything. You turn the board around, paddle, paddle, paddle. It's a lot of that. Paddle, paddle. You got it. Paddle more. I'll say paddle so much, whether they're paddling out, back out, or to paddle for a wave because they need to match the speed of the wave. And a lot of people just don't, paddle strong enough. And of course, they are beginners, so it's understandable. But when they get out there, be on the break. There's 2 ways. They can sit right smack dab in the middle, straight spine, feel your sits bones, and then let's say that's where the waves are coming from. They can turn the board around like this to get the board around and then feel for the back edge and start paddling by themselves, right? Or they could be facing this way, all the way out there, sit on your board. But then, this is the tricky one, right? And this is really key though. Move back like this, and then the board will be up out of the water. It's kind of tricky right here.